day, Ruskin enjoyers. Hope you're right, 'cause it's time for the 48-hour analysis. Basically, in this video, I'm going to look at all the skins in the current Rust store, and I'm going to make comparisons to previous Rust store skins to try and get a good idea in regards to how much each of these skins likely to sell by next Thursday. But then knowing that, we'll then question, are these skins still holding up to being perfectly fine investments, or are there any potential problems that you need to be aware of? So sit back and relax. I'm going to start yapping. So, first 24 hours of sales. I think a lot of people really did want to see that Popstar electric furnace being accepted. We did have to wait a while, but hey, it was accepted, and wow, it got a ridiculous amount of sales. Well, it's pretty colourful and interesting. Anime style, a very cool stereo design. I mean, okay, with all due respect, it looks pretty cool. And I'm not sure if we're going to ever see an electric furnace like that ever again. So, okay, those are some interesting considerations, but 18,700 subscribers in the first 24 hours of sales. Alright then, cool. But to my surprise, the Garage Store and the SAP, over 11,000 subscribers each as well. Well, I mean, I can't really answer the Garage Door, but I can offer a nice little point in regards to the Tribal Alloy SAP. That has a transparent aim sight. And the recent transparent aim sight SAPs, they've been going up in price very, very nicely. So to see a brand new one, priced at $2.49, with a pretty cool metallic design to the side and whatnot, hey, I'm kind of not surprised in regards to that. So, alright, that's an interesting consideration. Brand new clothing and armour. Hoodie and pants, well, that's a sequel to the recent Tier 3 armour we saw being accepted. Is it lining up nicely with the Tier 3? That's going to be something to talk about. But this is a brand new set of armour here. Who knows what happens next? But at the very least, looking at this whole Rust store, I will sit here and say, not everyone was like super enthusiastic. Compared to the previous week, as you might recall, we had a lot of late picks, like super late picks and whatnot. I guess this was like a teaser for complete the sets. Like we saw some interesting collection continuations and whatnot. But funnily enough, this also didn't sell that much either. And then hopping back over to here, this is selling so much more. I know it sounds odd, but then again, it is June 4th swipe. I'm led to believe in like North America, kids are now having summer vacation. Soon, the European kids will have their summer holidays. So more people are playing Rust. There's more demand for skins. There's better prices. And of course, when there's more people playing, there's more people buying skins in Rust stores. So, okay, take that into consideration. We might have some problems with oversaturation. Are these skins still going to hold up quite nicely, even if they sell quite a lot? Do they have collections behind them to help them out and whatnot? So, okay, cool. Point made. How about we go ahead and look at the first 48 hours of sales? Problem. I wasn't around to get a good screenshot of the first 48 hours of sales. At the very least, I have the first 51 hours. Is this going to be the 51-hour analysis then? Don't worry, we'll survive. But as you'll notice, 25,000 plus subscribers, 15,000 plus subscribers here, and now I can confirm to you, I'm actually recording this 54 hours in. So in 3 hours, I've noticed about 800 extra subscribers here. Is that slowing down? Not sure. Over to here, I mean, you've just about got an extra 400, same here, sort of. Like, I guess it's starting to slow down now. Maybe, like, it was just simply due to the fact that a lot of people turned up day one, or rather, on the 4th swipe. So let's just quickly point out, we peaked at 219,000. Seems we didn't match up to that today, which I guess is quite surprising, but the point still remains, on the first day, on the wipe day, lots of people turned up, lots of people saw this Rust store. Chances are a lot of people bought skins. So maybe we're not going to see as much momentum throughout the rest of this 7-day tenure. Okay, we'll take that into consideration. But wow, those are some pretty absurd sales. And again, just quick reference to the previous week, the top selling skin, just over 20,000 subscribers. I reckon we're going to have all three of these just about reach just beyond that. We'll have to figure that out, won't we? So what we're going to do now is we're going to start going through all the skins and trying to figure out how much are each of them likely to sell by next Thursday. Popstar Electric Furnace. I've already glazed you. Yep. I've sat here and said you're a very colourful, very flashy, very unique design, and I don't think we're going to see anything like this ever again. An interesting stereo design. Oh, it's beautiful. It's lovely. And, well, Popstar's got a lot of momentum at the moment. In like the past 2 months, we've seen like 6 skins being accepted. So that's pretty sweet. But how much are you likely going to sell? Well, if we could just quickly go do a comparison. The odd thing is that we don't actually have a direct thing to compare to. You might recall the very first electric furnace skin to be accepted was the neon electric furnace. That sold pretty absurdly. That initially only did, only, 27,500 subscribers in the first 24 hours of sales. Then we have like Pirate Electric Furnace, which did slow down quite a lot in comparison. But yes, this only had about 14,000 subscribers. This also has a very nice collection behind it as well. And to be honest with you, this might be the best thing we could compare to. Not just like based on sales, even though there's, it's quite far off, but more specifically, it has an in-demand collection. So let's go ahead and do just that. So back to about May 14? Yep, there you go. Right, so that only did 41,699 subscribers. But the main point I want to talk about is that the Pirate Collection is in demand. Now, if you were to look specifically at the deplorables, you might notice they didn't actually sell too ridiculously, and I should remind you, they mainly got their boost in value when we had the naval update. Lots of pirate and boat themed skins got completely bought out in anticipation to naval update, and they've still been held up quite nicely ever since, which is nice. It's cool. But when I saw this, I was constantly questioning with the amount of sales it had, is it actually do quite all right? Well, I was expecting eventually that the Pirate Electric Furnace would suffer quite a bit. What of it being the second ever electric furnace? I knew there would be a lot more electric furnace skins being accepted. Super flashy, super unique. It was inevitable. Because with all the brand new skinnables we've seen over the past year or so, we just keep seeing more and more and more acceptances for skins. Beds is a great example. So, yes, whilst I expected to suffer, considering the whole collection's in demand, I thought later down the line, give it a year or two, it would eventually recover and end up in the positive. As of now, though, it's doing a very, very, very good job retaining its value. Back over to here, Popstar Electric Furnace. Do you think it's in a very similar position, based on what you're looking at right there? I kind of wouldn't be surprised if at some point later this year, more specifically around the autumn-fall seasonal dip, October time, don't be surprised if it does potentially dip below its rust or price by a bit. Okay, don't be surprised. But after that, post-Christmas, with potentially a lot more anime Popstar skins being accepted, and let me remind you, we could see the sheet made at Double Door literally the very next week. It could happen, it could. Do you believe? I would be surprised if this does nicely ever, like, from here and now, it just does nicely, like, forever. Yeah, it might suffer a little bit, but then after that, I don't think it'll I have doubts it ever go below its rust or price since then. So, anyway, how much are you likely going to sell? I did mention that it does look as if it's slowing down by quite a bit. I'm still rolling with the expectation it's going to probably reach around 40,000 subscribers. How many people are going to turn? How many people are just waiting to turn up at the last second to then jump in and buy a ton of them? I might buy 50. I mean, literally literally the previous week, I looked at that. I saw the support after we did the abnormal barders. I went and bought 30 of them. Well, that's a pretty clever thing to do. But what made me a whole lot more confident was the fact that I had so much support. And then seeing that appear, oh, big smiles. So, I know for a fact the skin creator is still working on more Popstar skins. I've seen what's been made. You will fear what you're about to see. Like, do you remember when I was, like, getting you all hyped up with the anticipation of this appearing? Well, lo and behold, it got accepted. I want to give you, a very good, confident heads up. Something very goofy is about to appear. Quite a lot of you might hate it, but a lot of you will look at it and go, yeah, that's going to probably get accepted. I'm gonna have to buy it as well. What's it going to be? Ooh, you get to wait and see. So anyway, keeping on the workshop this weekend. Ooh. Anyway, so yeah, we'll see what gets produced next. We'll see if we do see more collection continuations, but I do feel confident that it's going to happen. Maybe it's going to slow down from here and now. Regardless, with its design, I don't think we're going to see anything as colourful and flashy like this ever again. Maybe we do. Like, I can't rule out the possibility of, like, another anime electric furnace. Look at Hazma. Yeah, that's actually a very good shout. Hazma electric furnace could happen. The skin creator for that already made, like, a regular furnace. Just see what happens next, I guess. So, yes, sheet metal double. A hammer? You want to whack her against the wall? That sounds so mean out of context. Whoa. Or anyway, so yeah, I think I might just sit here and say I expect it to do between, you know what, I might just say around 40,000. Because at the current rate of sales now, I'm kind of questioning it. You know what, I might lower this down. Because initially I was going to say 40 to 50. But I think we might want to, I might say like 37 to 42,000 subscribers. Yeah. I'm gonna amend that. 37 to 42,000. This does look as if it's starting to slow down. I don't think it's actually going to surpass the Pirate Furnace, but I kind of won't rule it out still. So, yeah, okay, cool. Because again, there will be more electric furnaces, but will they compare well against her, you know? I don't think people are going to get rid of her. I think they'll be enjoying that for a very long time. So, cool. So, yeah, with that, I would say it's going to sell pretty absurdly. But the best thing to remind people of in regards to like something that sells absurdly but was still well liked and still worked out perfectly fine is the Ghost Furnace. The first ever transparent furnace skin we ever saw last Halloween, and well, that did 70,000 plus subscribers, sold at $2, and yet right now on the Steam market it's actually like slightly like profitable. Right now this is listed at about like $2.30. Where's my extension? Sorry, I always keep it turned off just before I'm starting a video. I'm so stupid. Right, here you go. There you go. Perfect. Right, so now we'll refresh. And you can see that with your own eyes that this is actually listed at about $2.30. Yeah, you could sell yours right now for about 4 pennies profit. It's not a ridiculous amount of profit, but it still is in a position where there's so much demand for it that it didn't suffer and crash and burn, if you know what I'm talking about. I'm kind of expecting the same thing will be happening with the Popstar. So Ghost Furnace did dip below its roster price, but it never really suffered so bad that it just didn't recover. It has basically maintained its price. So we'll see what becomes of that. So next, we have the Garage Door and the SAP. And this was a bit of a funny one because, well, what can we compare to? And I thought about it, I questioned it. We don't have a good direct, like, skin to compare to. But I thought maybe a reasonable option would be looking at the Crypt Door. And to be honest with you, after looking at the slowing down of the sales, I thought maybe that might be a good thing to like get a good look in. But what I also want to consider looking at is just looking at like what was I going to say? Tribal Alloy AK-47. Because of course this picked up the pace and this actually worked out quite right. But this only had 9,000 subscribers initially with the first 24 hours of sales. With this being the predecessor to the SAP, I thought maybe we could get a good look at that. Like, a lot of people waited to the last second, then they jumped onto it. I just can't help but assume the same thing's going to happen to our SAP. But also, if it does turn into a collection, like, I think the SAP might be doing quite all right. So let's just talk about the SAP specifically right now, because of course we dabbled into immediately looking at that. I reckon that this, even though it's selling pretty absurdly to a point, and to truly understand this, let's look at all the SAP skins that exist, then look at them based on highest subscriber count. There we go. It's already in the top 6. I reckon this potentially could be reaching up to about 22 to 25,000 subscribers, along with the Garage Door. That would then make it the second highest ever selling SAP. But as you'll notice, what's right there? Oh, it's the Heatseeker SAP, currently priced at $7 a piece. Well, let's go give this a good look, because you might recall this just so happened to surprisingly appear back in December 2025. You might recall for December Force Wipe, after already seeing the naval update delayed, it got delayed again, didn't it? So we were anticipating December Force Wipe to then be, become the new day for the naval update. Didn't happen, got pushed to February instead. So all the skins that are submitted in anticipation for the naval update were all naval themed. Facepunch had to turn around and do something different. Surprise, complete the sets. Heatseeker SAP's accepted. Oh my, it sold pretty nicely. The highest ever SAP skin to have sold. Only 23,000, as we've already pointed out. Initially, it didn't do very well. It was just there. Like, it just existed. But as time went on, it just kept going up and up and up, and it actually peaked all the way to about $8. But then, of course, we got the Tribal Alloy SAP. I won't worry too much about this. I still believe this could work out perfectly fine and still just go back up in price. Like, I don't worry about this. This is perfectly fine. But another SAP I had to bring up is the B SAP, currently priced at about $5. This came out before Heatseeker. And this right here, it just was not noticed for a very long time. Like, I made a big fuss. I made a short video. People didn't really care. But eventually, people started to notice, and ooh, at its cheapest, around December time, this was only around $1.50. But fairly recently, this was pushing up to about $6 or $7. But then the Tribal Alloy SAP appears. Let's also point out 23,000 subscribers, only 11,000 subscribers. You, though, I mean, that very likely could get even more sales. Like, I'm sitting here and initially expecting 22 to 25,000 subscribers, but you could probably like potentially push up to 30. I don't blame people looking at that with positivity. When I did my predictions video, the only two skins I really wanted to talk about was the Electric Furnace and the SAP. I'm not surprised people want it. So, we'll see how it goes. I would have reason to believe that the skin creators will be putting more of an effort in now to try and get more of these skins produced and hopefully accepted. And as you'll notice, they have been trying. There's even a SAR on the workshop. Keep an eye on the workshop this weekend. You might be seeing something new. So, that's got quite a lot of momentum behind it. But you might not see that many people strike until, actually when it's Thursday. Like, maybe when it's like hours before we even have the Rust or Rotate. Like, literally the last hour, they could try their best. So, yeah. I'm expecting that to do between 22 to 25,000 subscribers. Not sure if this is going to manage to stay being the second best-selling skin for the next few days. We'll see how that goes. But it kind of wouldn't surprise me if this does slow down. So, I remember the Crypt Door. Crypt Door did over 10,000 subscribers, but it also slowed down. Slots in perfectly with the brand new building skin. Looks nice, but it's very gimmicky, and unfortunately that's starting to drop off now. But this only just about managed to reach over 20,000 subscribers. I'm not really sure why this is selling so much, other than it's just a nice comfy looking skin. Jeeba, you've done nothing wrong. Like, keep up the good work. I look forward to seeing some more of these skins. Could turn into a very nice comfy looking collection. Like a brand new sort of ultramarine sort of vibe, but purple and pink. So we'll see what becomes of that. But I wouldn't be surprised if this ends up becoming the second highest selling skin. I think that'll get, pushed aside. I would be surprised if this is more likely to end up at 22,000. This is more likely going to end up at 25,000. We'll see if the momentum sticks. But again, how many garage doors are we going to see this year? So far, we haven't even reached the halfway point. We've already got 21. All right? We've already got 21. The record-breaking amount of garage doors in a single year was last year, 39. We are on course to potentially beating that. And, as you might notice, look at all the garage doors from the previous year. How many of them are doing all right at the moment? You've got 1, you've got 2, you've got 3, you've got 4, you've got 5, you've got 6, you've got 7. 7 out of 39. Now, of course, there's some Twitch drops and kick drops. Point still remains, though. We got an absurd number, and only a few of them managed to stick out. You might notice that with the skins we currently have here, we're also starting to notice that here as well. So things are getting a bit concerning. So that might be perfectly fine for now. What do we see next week? Well, I mean the kick drop. But in the Rust store is what I'm saying. Complete the sets as next week. Do you think we might see a garage door? It wouldn't surprise me. So, yeah, keep an eye on this one. I'm not as confident in this compared to this. We'll see how things pan out. So, of course, don't forget, we should really look forward to doing our abnormal barders. So, all right then, cool. Now we have the hoodie and pants. And to be honest with you, the main concern was, how's it going to compare with the Tier 3 armour? And, wow, that Tier 3 armour's doing quite alright, isn't it? Isn't up in price insanely, though. Like, we did see both the Tier 3 pieces spike up very nicely, bought out quite a fair bit when we saw the Rust Rotate, but after a few hours, they went back down again. I don't think the collection's super in demand. So anyway, back over to here. No, here. There you go. Initially, the hoodie and pants, they did about 7,300, 7,150 subscribers. What do I think could be a nice thing to compare to? Well, I actually thought maybe Neville Camo backpack, but I also considered the Thunder Gold tactical gloves. Quite a bit of a distance between those two options, but I'm not sure how many people are going to wait till the last second to then jump onto the hoodie and pants. So let's go ahead and find that out. So, with the last week, we saw the Thunder Gold Tactical Gloves reaching just over 20,000 subscribers. That's a camouflage skin. We made a big fuss about that. I bought 100 of them. Did you buy more? Feel free to comment below. But let's just go a little bit further back. So here's the backpack. That managed to do about 18,000 subscribers. Cool. And of course, with this becoming a very interesting looking collection, not surprised to see it's actually retaining quite nicely. Anyway, back over to here. Psycho Collection. I have reason to believe the hoodie and pants will sell more than the tier 3. Maybe it does slow down. Again, we've made reference to that already, how within the past 3 hours, we've only noticed so many sales. In fact, what you can do again, Hedge, is just look at this. Hoodie, pants, 9,800, 9,600. I sit here 3 hours later, and, well, we've only gained about an extra 300 subscribers. You know what? We might actually slot in quite nicely with the tier 3. But I'll still sit here and say my expectation. I think the hoodie and pants are going to do between 17 to 20,000 subscribers. If they end up at 17,000, that's totally fine. Like, oh no, these are sold a few hundred more. In the grand scheme of things, that won't matter that much. Because, of course, we still anticipate tier 2, boots and gloves, maybe a jacket and whatnot. Okay, cool. But with only like 1,000 difference, that should be right. If there's like 5,000 difference, that might be a bit more concerning. We'll see how things pan out. But again, after the behaviour we saw when these appeared, and then after a few hours it went back down in price again, I'm not sure if Psycho's actually in demand. You can offer your comments if you happen to like it and whatnot, but yeah, I do just want to bring that up to you. So yeah, hoodie and pants, I reckon are going to do between 17 to 20,000 subscribers, but maybe it does slow down and we potentially end up with less. Let's see if it matches up to expectations. Now I have the bolt action rifle. So first things first, let's just quickly get this across to all of you. The bolt action rifle is the focused item of the month. There will be more bolt action rifles. So maybe this might sell quite a decent amount. Don't be surprised if we end up seeing a lot of these. Like, we could probably... I wouldn't be surprised if we have a week where we see 2 of them being accepted in the same restaurant. Don't be surprised by such a thing. That might start struggling and suffering. But anyway. I'm looking at options to compare to. And I thought, you know what, we could probably just go ahead and look at the Apotheosis of Warfridge. They're fairly similar enough. And in terms of like momentum, I honestly believe that this is going to probably only just about manage to reach up to close to 13,000 subscribers. I reckon the bolt action rifle is going to probably do between 12 to 14,000 subscribers. That's my best bet. Now, that doesn't sound like quite a lot, but how much is that in comparison to like all the other bolt action rifle skins? Let's go ahead and compare. So I have seen bolt action rifles reach up to absurd numbers. Oh boy, 56,000 for a blackout bar. But then again, it's a blackout weapon. Anyway, it'll probably just about manage to reach up to the top 6 almost. More specifically, it'll be like number 7. We don't get many bolt action rifles. That's why you see a lot of these in the green. But considering it's the focused item of the month, you might see that change. With a sudden surge of a lot of skins being accepted, yes, I'm quite tentatively cautious about that. I think you're better off with just a barter, even though that's not abnormal. I'm not fully confident. So 12 to 14,000 subscribers, but with a lot more in the way, I am a little bit worried. Next, we have the Bone Crusher EOKA and the Tier 2 armor. So I was making considerations for what we could compare with this. I looked around, made considerations, and I thought, you know what? We could just literally go quite a bit back and just look at like the Monument Shack small box in the Pirate SKS. Yep, very similar numbers of sales. Let's go ahead and do that comparison. So, this managed to just do over 10,000 subscribers. This managed to do just over 11,000 subscribers. Looking at the current rate of sales, I'd have reason to believe the EOKA and the Tier 2 armor probably would reach up to around 11 to 13,000 subscribers. Now, from the EOKA, well, it's the second one this year. Nice to see. Wow, you dropped off. You look cool. Oh. That is a bit of a problem we see of the more recent EOKA skins. They don't exactly seem to be very in demand. And then look at the old ones, you're like, what? Banana EOKA is $124. What? Anyway, I'm not really sure how to approach that EOKA. Like, okay, We've got two in a single, like, we've got two in the same year. But last year, how many did we see? So, like, are we going to see more of these? Micro, are you considering making a Thunder Gold EOKA? And that should be a good question to ask. Are suddenly all the skin creators considering making EOKAs? What if it becomes a focused item of the month? Oh dear. So, considering that, I think I probably would just want to play it safe with that. It's also not abnormal. But then again, like, look at all these recent EOKA pistols. Like, do they even go below $1? Doesn't look like it, no. Okay, that'd be something to consider when we do the abnormal barters. Or rather, we question if we want to jump in and buy it, because again, it's not abnormal. But the tier 2 armor is abnormal, and it's brand new. And, you know, I just want to remind all of you, we did test this out in the desert. It's alright, it's not the best. If you just stand in some shade, you might work out quite alright, but then again, wouldn't any sort of dark clothing work out quite alright in some shade on the rocks and whatnot? So, yeah, not sure what to expect next. Sheet metal clothing? What? Anyway. If that's to reach up to about 11,000 subscribers, all we really need to do is just wait for, like, the collection continuations. Is it going to happen? I'm not sure. Like, I should remind all of you, quite some time back, we saw some interesting looking skins, didn't we? Yep. Sorry, my nose is starting to get a little bit blocked. You might recall we had the Acid Arachnid hoodie and pants. We had the Wasteland Recruit tier 3 armor. They look cool. We were hoping for collection continuations. It didn't happen. I'm sorry to say, but do not be surprised. It could potentially happen to Psycho now. But yeah, we might not see collection continuations for these. It's nice to sit here and wish and dream and hope. But not everything always works out perfectly fine. Take that into consideration. So, okay. That'll be discussion, you know, on Wednesday night when we do the abnormal barders. Keep an eye out on the workshop as well. Let's see what Kreitzer is potentially going to work on next. I would have reason to believe we're going to see some boots and gloves, some tier 3 and some hoodie and pants eventually. Like, this is their first ever skins to be accepted. Of course they're going to keep trying to get more out of this. Not to sound mean, it's like, it's obvious. These skin creators, they try so hard every single week just to try and get noticed and just to get a skin accepted. If they got one thing accepted, they're of course going to try and make a collection out of it. So, yeah, cool. So, yep, 11 to 13,000 subscribers for the tier 2 and EOKA. Now we have the final 3 skins. We have the No Mercy Salvage Axe, the Vandal MP5, and the Protector SKS. Right now, 6,200 subscribers, 6,090 subscribers, and 5,563 subscribers. But if we could go ahead and, you know, do a comparison, what are we going to compare with? 4,600 almost, 4,400 almost, and just over 4,000. I thought I could just go back and look at the sheet metal barricade. Like, there wasn't a great batch of skins to compare to. But with the pace that they're moving at, I kind of wouldn't be surprised if we do see a little bit better than this, because that only managed to do around 7,465 subscribers. These here, though, I don't think they're stopping at about 7,500 subscribers. If anything, I reckon they'll probably do between 8 to 10,000 subscribers, these 3 remaining weapon skins. In my predictions video, I wasn't really expecting much with the other weapon skins. Everything except the SAP just didn't seem to be super appealing. Not to sound mean, but I keep an eye on their behaviours. I see how things turn out. Yeah. Now, maybe No Mercy ends up with an ice pick eventually, and I wouldn't be surprised if that happens. Could we see a proper pairing of the tools? Well, if we do see an ice pick, what do you reckon's going to happen with this? Will it actually spike in 1, spike in price? Are people going to be able to find it easily because it's spelt salvage? I'm sure that'll be fixed eventually. Anyway. My No Mercy collection, let's just quickly get a good look at you because, well, to be honest with you, whilst it has tons upon tons upon tons of skins, it's not exactly doing perfectly fine. The older skins here, the clothing and the armour, they're doing good. But then you look at the more recent ones, it's like, oh boy, oh dear. So, I mean, we'll keep an eye on it, but I think it really does need the ice pick. Vandal MP5, I don't really see anything wrong with it. I just don't think it stands out that much in comparison to all the other MP5s. Like, where's the anime girl? But jokes aside, we have a lot of options now with transparent aim sights and whatnot, super colourful designs, you name it. I just don't think that's going to hold up perfectly fine. It's nice and colourful, and it looks as if it could turn into a pretty interesting weapon collection. I'm just personally not feeling it. I think I might just end up sticking with like a 60-cent, 20-cent barter. But maybe it does turn into a weapon collection, and maybe it does work out nicely. Okay, I'll accept that. Keep an eye on the workshop, though. Let's see what the skin creators produce next. Let's see if it actually does manage to turn into an interesting collection. And then we have the Protector SKS. Guys, I'm sure you're fully all aware, we're about to see a very, very, very interesting SKS being given away for absolutely free. And I'm sure people are fully well aware now, okay? So, it's very unsurprising to see this as the lowest selling skin. The amount of SKS skins we've seen recently has been absolutely absurd. Pair that with the fact that the Team Recoy and Dylan Zito SKS is literally coming out next week for absolutely free. I mean, yeah. I'm sorry, Protector. Whilst you do look pretty cool as a fully shiny metallic design, it's just, yeah. I'm sorry. But yeah, people prefer you as a door collection rather than your weapons. That's pretty noticeable. So, okay, you might sell next to nothing, but I don't think the interest will be there to have like the people continuously trying to buy it and whatnot. Again, the amount of options we already have for something that only somewhat recently became skinnable, oh boy, oh dear. So yeah, I don't expect that much with it. It's abnormal, but I think we'll be doing a lower price barter with that. So that is essentially everything. Do not forget, look in the chapters, scroll down, look in the description, you can see all of them. In a parentheses, I add the estimates in regards to how much I reckon they're going to sell. So all the details should be there if you manage to forget. And we'll see if everything lines up in regards to what we're expecting. So, I will remind you, next week we have Complete the Sets. We have no idea what's going to be picked, but start hoping, start praying for what you want most. Because, well, it's up to Face Punch. There's a lot of very interesting collections out there, and there's a lot of skins in those collections that weren't accepted. Now's their time. But will they pick the ones you want most? I have no idea, but I will tell you, they could have a very, 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 very good roster if they wanted to. Or, alternatively, they could probably do the opposite. We'll see what that becomes, alright? So, yeah, comment below what you want most. Maybe that could bring some good luck. Aside from that, we've mentioned it several times already, kick drops next week. Starting on June 11, we have 3 perfectly fine-looking green kick general drops, but we have a lot of exclusive drops as well. I am led to believe every single stream here will stream 24/7. I'm not joking, I'm fully expecting it. There's the kickoff event, which goes on for 3 days. I wouldn't be surprised if all of them will be 24/7 with the first 3 days. Maybe it might be a little bit different afterwards. I wouldn't be surprised the kick stream will be on continuously over and over. That wouldn't be too surprising. But yes, I wouldn't worry too much. If anything, I'd sit here and try and figure out what would you prioritise getting first. Now, of course, I have got a nice little video here showcasing every single kick drop for June 2026. Consider giving it a good watch. Of course, look for the chapters so you can skip ahead to the parts that might interest you more. Both of the doors are very, 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 very interesting. I can't say pay to win because you don't pay for it. So it's watch to win. Yeah, the transparency in both of them, helpful, useful, and they also have the glow in the dark. But then we have like the SKS and the AK-47, 2 very interesting transparent aim sights. Look very, very impressive, yes. So, alright, cool, that's nice to be aware of. Now there's the commits. We've just had the June 4 swipe. Now we anticipate what's going to be worked on next. I am aware of the Games Room DLC. We don't fully know everything that's going to be in it, but they keep talking about it. There's darts game. Cool. What else? I think they're doing pool tables. What else? I would like air hockey, but we'll see what they're going to produce with that. It's going to probably be like another decor DLC pack, basically. Something just nice and goofy. You don't have to buy it, but you might get some fun, silly little things that you can add to your base with it. Okay. $5 or $10. You don't have to buy it, but it would be cool to get. Cool. Awesome. We're also noticing this glass AK-47. What on earth is this for? We have no idea. Are they just randomly going to make a special DLC weapon? Like, you know, the Space Station LR300, and of course, the Bolus crossbow. Here's a pure... Here's a completely transparent, see-through AK-47. That'd be $5, please. Wouldn't that be annoying? Because people from a long distance away wouldn't be able to figure out what they have in their hands. But then again, when they shoot, what if they give it a different, like, sound? Oh boy, oh dear, oh no. So yeah, a glass AK-47 is being worked on. We don't fully know all the details, but yes, keep an eye on the commits. Keep an eye on Protox. I'm sure he'll have his hands in it soon enough. So, alright, cool. Games Room DLC. Oh, there you go. Minifridge. Oh, okay. First ever Minifridge skin. So you know how Brainwave, you know how we just had the Industrial Deco DLC? We found out the first ever auto turret skin was going to be in that pack. Now that we just found out about the Minifridge, I guess maybe the Minifridge might become the brand new skinnable for next month. Ooh, alright, okay, yeah, looking forward to that. You'll probably find out in about 2 weeks' time. This is just an assumption. I'm still hoping for the wolf headdress, but I don't think people would be opposed to that. So, if they're completely working on something like this for a special skin, don't be surprised if it becomes the next brand new skinnable, okay? Yeah. So that's sounding pretty cool. Yep. You need fridge magnets. Oh no. Yeah, what you got to do, Frankie, is you got to visit all the monuments, and then you get to take a picture, and then you get like a fridge magnet, and then you can take it back home with you. Oh, you could be able to draw like stupid little things, and then like you could tape it onto the fridge. Oh, that'd be cool. Oh, that'd be like a special little, like a mini canvas. Oh, I want that now. Anyway. Yeah, things are being worked on. Keep an eye on the commits. You can find out about things pretty early on just by looking at this every now and then, basically. So yeah, cool. Right, so we'll see what becomes of that. Player count's all right. It has dropped off quite a bit though in just a couple days. I was expecting over 200,000 people today. Nope. But of course, you know, as more and more kids are out of school, more time off, I mean, yeah, you're going to start seeing more people playing. I would expect there would be more people playing in June compared to May. We'll see what becomes of that. I would have reason to believe the kids aren't having exams anymore. We'll see about that. So, alright, cool. That's pretty much everything that needs to be said. So now, as I've said many times already, keep an eye on the workshop. I've got a bit of a problem. I don't know how to make a brand new collection. I cannot figure out how to make a brand new collection in this brand new workshop. It's annoying me. I can, however, give you a nice little preview. You might notice, oh, look at that. Apotheosis of War electric furnace. All right, I ain't complaining. But yes, we're going to see skin submissions again this week. Industrial shelf sheet metal door. Yeah, okay then, fair enough. I think people would approve of that. That looks nice. Okay, if only could change the colour. But yeah, okay, that's looking pretty sweet. Yeah, all right. So keep an eye on the workshop if you can. Micro522.com would be pretty helpful though. Like, all you got to do is just hop over to here, click date submitted once, and I can see all of them per recent submissions. And all you got to do is just hover over them. You've got some pretty cool looking skins there. Although, keep an eye out for people that spam submissions. They're breaking the rules. They won't get a skin accepted. Be real. So, all right, cool. Right, so anything else to address? Well, I do plan to make a special video going over the potential impact of these DLC skins and weapons and whatnot. Because the mentions right there of a glass AK-47 starting to get me a little bit worried. Because you might have noticed, we just got the Bolus crossbow, $5 a piece. And in the brand new Industrial Decor DLC, we have a transparent garage door which has tinted windows. And if you're looking at if you are indoors looking outwards and the sun is facing your garage door, people can't see inwards very nicely. Like, it's hard to see through it. But if you're indoors looking outwards, you can see perfectly fine. That seems a little bit too OP. So I will be making a video doing some comparisons with pre-existing skins right now. Have you seen Stinger crossbow? Have you seen Cargo Heli crossbow? But we have to bring up like the potential that pre-existing garage doors with transparency might suffer. Maybe it's going to only really affect new skins in Rust doors. that might be the conclusion, but we've got to build up to that and figure out if, is that the actual answer. So yeah, I might have a very special video going over that and doing some comparisons and highlighting what makes these brand new DLC skins and whatnot very special. So okay, cool. So yeah, honestly, I think that's pretty much everything that needs to be said. Have a pleasant weekend, and don't forget the estimates are in the description. Just look at the chapters, you can see them right there. Catch you later. Say goodbye.